We join Black Girls Create to hear some of their recommendations for movies, TV, books, music, art, fandom, and more. On the left is, from top to bottom, Bayana, Robin, and Portia. They are presenting a slideshow that takes up most of the screen. Sit back and be ready to find your new favorite thing.
Hi, Geek Girl Con Online, GGC, Geek Girl Conline, Conline, whatever.
What an entrance.
Hello and welcome to the Creator Shoutout panel. The point of this panel is we just wanted to let people know about some amazing creators that are in the world that don't get enough love, in our opinion, and need to get some more love. And we feel like everyone attending Geek Girl Con online probably has like their favorite authors, their favorite musicians, but sometimes you get stuck in a rut and you need someone to be like, hey, have you heard of this person? So that's what's happening right now. Have you heard of these creators? So let's introduce ourselves. You can go around. But we are all from Black Girls Create, which is a unique intersectional hub for Black creators and critical fandom. And through substantive but easily accessible content, we encourage fans to celebrate and critique pop culture while also advocating for and contributing to the increased media representation of Black women specifically and people of color in general. So you'll notice a theme to all of our recommendations, and they all have melanin. Varying degrees. So,
who are you? Oh, okay. I'm Bayana. I am co-founder and editor-in-chief of Black Girls Create.
And I'm Portia Patterson-Hurst. I am the Director of Strategic Partnerships for Black Girls Create.
And I'm Robin Jordan. I am the co-founder and chief community officer for Black Girls Create. All right, so we kind of broke up our categories of creators that we want to shout out. And the first category is movies and television. So you also notice that like some of us are more fans of a certain thing than others. So I have a lot of people on this list that I want to shout out.
I don't watch movies, so I like
Diana hasn't
not on purpose, but like it just very rarely happens that I'm watching a movie. So
yeah. So this is movies, TV, but it's also like web series, like things that you watch. The first person is Eliana Yisrael. Full disclosure, she's like one of my closest friends personally. But she is an amazing director, writer, producer, and a thing that you can see her most notably is she created the Hermione Granger and the Quarter-Life Crisis web series, and you can find that online. At her YouTube channel is Sunshine Moxie. She has narrative films and short films. She's done music videos. And if you just find her online and follow her, she's hilarious and thoughtful, and she's from Chicago. And you will know that if you've been any time interacting with her. The takeaway you'll get is that she loves film and she's from Chicago. The next person I want to shout out is Channing Gottfried Peoples. She's a director, writer, and she started her career as an actress. But her IMDb page is full of really awesome credits. She wrote for Queen Sugar, which is on the OWN network, and it's a Ava DuVernay series. But she recently directed Miss Juneteenth, which is an independent film, and it stars Kendrick Sampson from Insecure and Nicole Beharie, who you probably would know from Sleepy Hollow. It's a really great independent film about a mother and her daughter and going through kind of a beauty pageant in Texas. I think it's like just a really great watch, and excited to see what else Channing Gottfried Peoples does in the future. And then Terrell Grease, he hosts a YouTube show called The Terrell Show. And I was like waffling whether or not this should be in music or in movies and television. It's a web series, so you watch it, but the bulk of it is that he interviews art musicians, mostly singers, and they do a song association game. So he'll put a word out, and then they have to, on the spot, think of a song that either matches the title or has that word in the title or in the lyrics, and they get like 15 seconds. And that's really great. And you get to hear some like amazing live vocalists, but he's also a really hilarious and really like smart interviewer. So he asked really great poignant questions in between. And he is just an endless supply of reaction gifts. So I think like Terrell is like amazing. He's funny. He's also talented. He has an album out. He can sing as well, but his show on YouTube, I think, is just like top notch.
And I submitted Debbie Allen, the prolific and long-standing Debbie Allen, who's been part of so many different productions. I think she's for more recently, she's been part of Grey's Anatomy, doing like directing and producing and acting on that show. And the thing that I love her and like most got into her for was for her turn as a director and producer for A Different World, which inspired me to go to an HBCU, much like she did. And she brought those experiences to screen in the 80s in a way that like is long standing, and people still watch that show. And I actually recommend everyone watch that show as soon as you can, if you haven't already. And she also is a choreographer, and she has a dance troupe that she had them star in Fame, which is another prolific TV show.
She's also like Broadway superstar. I like had to put etc. on there because it's like I'm not trying to discount anything that Debbie Allen does. She's so wonderful. She's an institution. Yeah. And she's been hosting during like quarantine. She's been doing some like dance classes. So you can even like take a dance class from Debbie Allen online, which is
like how great. Yeah.
Like and then there is also Moon Ferguson, who is another director, writer, producer, and the creator of the Juju web series. So it's about 3 women in New York who like come into their own like magical power, and then like, you know, all the shenanigans that occur from that. I believe it was on YouTube, but now I believe it's on Amazon. So if you want to like watch it, I think on Prime Video you can watch it there, like the first season, and then I believe they're raising money for season 2, so you should check that out. And then, you know, if you have the means, throw them
support.
Some coin. Yeah.
Yeah, I think supporting all of these creators as we go through is like super important. So we're gonna go to books, which is kind of like our bread and butter for Black Girls Create. Before we started the panel, we were talking about books, what's on our to-be read list, what we, you know, are diving into. So who wants to start on the book?
So there's AJ Jordan, who is a writer, graphic designer, and then also a creator of the BIPOC bookshelf, which is essentially like a database of like all these books. I believe she's also gonna she's making pages for like agents and editors of color within like the publishing industry, and so it's super tight, and y'all should just check it out. She does a lot of really cool work with that, and then I know she's writing and stuff too, so you know, when her books drop, also check those out. It's lit. I'm like, it's really cool because it's like it's just like this hub where if you're like, oh, I want to know about like in YA, like what are the books that are out or coming out or whatever, and you can just like go there and search, and it's, you know, it's there.
Yeah, and her like design prowess is like really shown there. It's such a beautiful like database as well.
Yeah,
it's, like, really well done.
Yeah. And then Marco Shero, who is an author. They're the creators of Mark Reads, or Mark Does Stuff, and then under that is like Mark Reads, Mark Watches, and they review a lot of books, TV shows, video games, and then they're also a author of 2 books so far. So Anger is a Gift came out, I think, was that 2018, and is like a YA contemporary novel. And then Each of Us a Desert just dropped in September 15th of this year, and is a fantasy novel. So they're like both very different, but both will wreck you. So, be prepared for that. But yeah, they're awesome and just have lots of things that you can, including like and like short stories as well, and like anthologies. So there's like tons of stuff that you can go look at and do to support their work as well.
Portia?
Yeah, I wasn't sure who added those, so I didn't want to take them. Legendborn was a book that was just published recently. I want to say like 9/15, like this month, like on 15th. Legendborn came out, which is a really interesting story. I don't want to spoil too much. About a 16-year-old girl named Bree who is in North Carolina, and she goes to an early college program and learns that there's a secret society that does magic, and it may have something to do with her history and her mother's death. And Tracy Dion is an author of this very prolific and interesting story that it's an interesting book. I think if you catch the book, you'll find yourself kind of like wandering through the things. If you look it up, you'll find out that it's tied to Arthurian legends, but I don't want to, like, if I say anything about it, I'll spoil it. So I'm not going to do it. But you definitely, if you're into Arthurian legend and you want to see a twist on it and you're tired of the old, like a young boy unknown goes and pulls a sword out of a stone thing, this is a great changeover.
And Violet Mag is a literary magazine. It's run by people of color. They highlight the works of people of color. They do submissions. It's monthly, correct? Am I correct on that?
It's
so is it monthly?
I feel like I get my subscriptions like maybe quarterly.
Maybe quarterly, yeah. But it's a great place to like see up and coming writers, to get short work. They have different themes for each volume of the magazine, and they do really great stuff. And they are doing a convention. I don't know when this is going.
October 12th through 14th.
Yeah, so I think we'll have missed it most likely.
Yeah.
But they have a convention. I believe they started their own like awards as well. So yeah, they're doing a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, really great like outlet if you want to like support and also find writers of color.
Mm-hmm. And submit if you are a writer of color.
That as well.
Yay, this is all me because I'm ridiculous. Okay, sidebar. On top of me being the director for strategic partnerships at Black Girls Create, I'm also the book reviewer. So I always read a bunch of books, and this is right up my alley. So Rena Barron is an author of Maya and the Rising Dark. She's also written at least 2 other books that are more. This is Maya and Rising Dark is middle grade. The other 2 books she's written, Kingdom of Souls, and then the sequel to Kingdom of Souls, which is coming out, I believe, next year. Those are YA books. So her writing is I very highly recommend it. Maya and the Rising Dark is set in Southside Chicago, with this 12-year-old girl who finds out that her father's job may have more to it than she initially thought. He says he's a structural engineer, and who knows what that means in magical terms. So that's a really cool part of the story. And there's a trio in this story, like the trio that Maya has with her other 2 friends is a trio that I've never seen before. Like they support each other in a way that I'm like, this is what the friendship I wish was kind of portrayed to me when I was younger would look like. So really support that book, not only for middle grade readers. If you're any age, you should read Maya and the Rising Dark. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a series, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be amazing. Another series that people should check out is Tracy Chee's the Reader series. It's, I don't know how to explain it, kind of like made my brain freak out, like the way that the whole, how it kind of builds up into a place that you're kind of like, you think you know where the story's going, because it takes a protagonist. It kind of seems like it's set in some like either post-apocalyptic or like older time where there's no like modern technology, but like there's boats and thieves and pirates and stuff like that, and it's in a world where everyone is illiterate. So you kind of have to journey on with this character and find out why the world is the way that it is. And when I tell you it twisted itself, like I seriously, like it did almost break my brain. And I was just like, when I got to the third book and I finished it, I was like, I didn't see that coming. And I always see things coming. So definitely check that out. And then an author who has kind of inspired a lot of my reading since I was younger is Mildred D. Taylor, who's written the Logan Family series, which starts with Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry. I believe that it's the first one that was published. There are a couple that were written afterwards that predate Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry. Is a great series. She recently finished it off this past year. I want to say probably around the springtime, with All the Things to Come. And it's such a good send off of this character. It's really well said. And if you want to see like Black family lineage over time and not just like trauma stricken, it's a very good series to pick up on. And she's been nominated and received so many different awards for this series. I believe the Coretta Scott King Award, maybe, I think of what the name of the other one is, but there's so many great awards tied to this. So definitely check it out.
It's middle grade, correct?
It's middle grade through YA, and then the last book is like, I guess like why it could be YA, but it's mostly set in adult years, so it's adult. But it really goes through all the basics. But it's not progressive, again, because she did write some stories that predate the original middle grade age one. So some of those are kind of adult / YA-ish as well. Pick them up, you'll enjoy it. And then my final person, it's Isabel Wilkerson. She wrote One of Their Sons, and she's a journalist, and what she did was she interviewed at least 4 or 5 different Black people about their decision to do the Great Migration and journey to California, Ohio, Chicago, and somewhere else from the South after Jim Crow in the 1950s. And it's such a well kind of done book. And then she's recently published Caste, which is looking at like the caste systems and like the US. I haven't read it yet. I picked it up. I just highly recommend her. It's a good backlog like reference book to go to when you're trying to understand more about why things are with Black Americans today, and like how we kind of got where we are and how we're spread out the way we are and still have ties to the South. And it kind of is a good companion piece to go with Mildred D. Taylor's work as well.
Awesome. I love that. I didn't know about Warmth of the Other Sons, but that's definitely, I mean, so many families, my family can like do that lineage of like, oh, I grew up and was born and raised in California, but a lot of my family is from the South. So that's very interesting. I'm definitely going to check that out. Music. Okay, this is where I shine. In the way that like Portia picked a lot of the books. I love every artist on here, and I had to like calm myself down and only do a few. So yeah, there's like
I definitely chilled. I didn't, because I too, but I was like, we will be here all day.
So for music, I just wanted to highlight like people that I don't know if you've heard of, whereas like I mean, so much great music out, and I am like in a deep British music scene, UK music scene hole right now, but I would love to recommend Awa. She is actually Swedish. Her father's Senegalese, but like she was born and raised in Sweden, and she won X Factor at like 15, the Swedish X Factor. And recently in February, I believe, um, no, more recently than that, she dropped her latest EP called Crybaby. She's got songs with BJ the Chicago Kid. It's R&B, soulful. Her aesthetic is amazing. Her most recent single is called Like I Do, and that video gives me Noel sister vibes. Like it's just like it's like if she was like the middle Noel sister. She hangs out with Solange on the weekends and Beyonce during the week. And then this video is birthed, and the style and the sound is like just really great. It's very like chill vibes. It's not too upbeat, but it's not slow. And there's some really great, like just really great songs in this. It's a short EP. Tiana Major 9 is another, well, she's not Swedish, but she's based in the UK. She's London born. She signed to Motown. And you can hear one of her latest songs on the Queen and Slim soundtrack, but she also just is like great chill vibes, like just really good, like car music, walking, like doing, just if you want to like feel something but not be overcome with like sad emotions, but also not going clubbing. It's not like, I mean, you can bop to it, but it's not like hard dancing music. Tiana Major 9, and her voice is out of this world. It's just so amazing. And then there's Vincent. He was a finalist on The Four. I don't know if anyone's watched those, but I actually first saw him in going way back to our first thing, The Terrell Show, is how I first found Vincent. And he is amazing. His voice is otherworldly, but he has this like great mix of like club music. I would think if you like Lady Gaga or a lot of the like drag queens that come out with music after they've been on RuPaul's Drag Race. He fits in really well with that, but then also like he has like an Adele level voice. So when he sings just like straight like ballads, you're just like, my God. So I would say like in between like a Lady Gaga and like an Adele, Sam Smith type of thing, and like his voice is just like that powerful and great. He also just recently did the soundtrack or the theme song for the latest season of Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, and he's beautiful. Look at his skin. Oh my God.
I know it's coming.
His skin also. There's nothing to do with his music, but maybe it does. Maybe his voice is so clear because his skin is so clear. I don't know. But I'm a fan.
Share your skin routine, sir.
Yeah. Let us know.
Let us know. And then Candace Antique, which Bayana, I don't know if you want to talk about too, but like she is based in the Bay Area. She is, full disclosure, family, and has a killer voice. She does solo music, but she also has a group called Antique Naked Soul. And I think the thing that really sets them apart is that all of their music is done like from the voice. They use loopers and things, but like it's
like
acapella.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Yeah. So
yeah. And she's an educator as well, and so she brings like her music into like the classroom and into like her trainings and stuff. Like she trains teachers. So she's like the CEO of Edutainment for Equity, and so you can see like a lot of her stuff there. She kind of like merges her two professions into one. So
yeah, and if you are an educator or you someone who like knows people that wants to run workshops on, diversity, inclusion, anti-racism, all manner of things, like check out Candace Antique because she can do it all. Amazing voice as well. Art.
Love art.
I love art too.
As y'all can tell, all up back here.
Most
Art.
of those back there belong to Geneva.
Most of them, and then like I have a couple others like on these walls that also belong to Geneva. And I'm wearing her shirt, but you can't see it because like it's cutting off.
You gotta sit up.
I gotta like stand. Oh, there we go. But yeah, no, Geneva Bowers is like I stan. She's amazing. But she has a store called GDB. Art is like her brand, and she has a store with like a bunch of amazing prints and stationery and apparel and lots of things. She also I believe has like illustrated a few like book covers, and like does a lot of like it's like real like idyllic but also fantasy is kind of her bag.
Magical realism.
Yeah, like so like I like the shirt I have on now is like this girl riding her bike and then there's like a dragon flying over, or like there's a couple others where there's like I have one up here where like this girl is in the grocery store and there's like butterflies like flying around. So there's all like very like calm and nice and like bright colors, and but also there's like fantasy elements, which is like love it. Love her. Buy all of her things like I have.
Guard your wallet a little bit when you go to GDB Art, because she's got
everything. Something for everyone.
But I feel like each one of us has like multiple things from her. It's not even like, oh yeah, we each have no, like we each have multiple things.
Actually, I just bought some from her. It's on the way. Like I cannot stop.
I bought the 2020 calendar before I knew 2020 was going to be like it was.
Oh no!
But I bought her 2020 calendar from her from New York Comic Con in 2019, whenever pre-COVID, and I was so excited because it looks so beautiful to put it on my office wall and have a little bit of great art in my office in Manhattan, which I no longer go to because we work remotely now. Yeah. But it's still beautiful.
I got her 2021 calendar, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to move some things around, but that's okay.
Yeah,
I'm totally fine with it.
I'm gonna have to pick that up.
It's worth it.
I also have Monique Steele, who's also an illustrator and designer. She does really great work, but she also does a lot of like pop culture illustrations too. So like fan art, this print right here of Beyonce that she did right after their Homecoming dropped. She's a Beyonce stan, so there's like a lot of really cool prints of that. Her style is really great, and she's so sweet. Nothing to do with her ability as an artist, but just because if you want to know that you're also supporting someone who is so great personally. I didn't have anything else to say about Monique. Momo. You can find her at Momo Steele 7 on Twitter, and then I think her store is Momo Steele as well. I'm not sure. I should have wrote that down.
But yeah, no, she's definitely Momo Steele on 07 on Twitter, and you can
find her stuff from there.
Links,
more art.
Ooh, so much art.
Much. Matchy Harrison. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, you got it.
Matchy Harrison, she is an illustrator, author, and filmmaker. So you might know her from, she has books, Little Leaders. She has a lot of other, I think she has 3 books in this kind of series now. It's like Little Leaders, Little Inventors, or like people that, historical figures that were leaders in like movements, inventors, scientists, and things like that. And they're really great, like kids' books, picture books. She also worked on Hair Love with Matthew Cherry, which won an Oscar. So she's like an Oscar winner now, I believe.
I don't know if she is, because she did. No, I think she just did the book. She did the book.
She did the concept art.
She did
so
the
that works.
And then she also illustrated Lupita Nyong'o's.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Soleil.
Yeah. Which is it looks so pretty. It's like a purple background. It looks perfect. Look it up.
Yeah. So there's a lot of books that she's had a hand in. And then we have the Jamie twins and Portia. wearing a shirt that we collabed
Their
with.
shirt.
Yeah, it's like a Black Girls Create Jamie Twin
Original.
collaboration. They're illustrators. You can find them a lot. Well, you could find them a lot at conventions when conventions were happening in person. But they also have a store, and they do a lot of fan art, different, what's it called? What's the word I'm looking for? Concept art, things like that. So I don't know. I really like their style. They'll do like illustrations that are like look like photographs, like old school photographs, or poster, like concert posters, which I think we all have.
See.
Yeah, I think all
There.
of us have the Celestina Warbeck concert poster, which the Harry Potter character. Yeah,
I think that was. Oh, sorry. I was remembering. Like, I think we were all at a con, and one person was like, "Look what I found!" We were all like, "What?" And it just became a bum rush. I think we bought like the last couple of ones because they were like, "Yeah, this is it."
And
I think I bought the last one because we were also like working a booth.
Yeah.
Like, oh, let them leave.
Like, no, we gotta go. Need it.
We made it. We all have our Celestina poster. So great. Fashion.
So fashion. This is me because I just can't help myself. So Rory James is a like former Toronto-based designer who currently lives in New York. Has lived in New York for a while, and their work is all about bringing like African artisan techniques to like to people in different places, and it's about like using sustainable materials and not like doing a lot of waste. So, and then also recently she's gotten into doing some like equitable, like equality, like income equality stuff, and like putting her money forward that way, like from her proceeds from her work, and also from different, she has like an initiative that she just started like during the pandemic called Something New, I believe, or something special. And so it's a monthly thing. It's $35 a month, I believe. And it's probably the cheapest thing you can get on our website because it's literally like high fashion. And she, their group will send you something special in the mail every month if you subscribe. And that way you're kind of like contributing to them giving money to the artisans that are crafting the designs and doing all the hard work and finding them materials. And so I love that she's like working directly with the African artisans and making sure they're getting paid their due and that they're working in good working conditions and everything is working out the way that they should get the money for their hard work. Carly Kushney, formerly of Kushney and Ox, she does a lot of amazing like cool clothing. She does a lot of good cool collabs with music artists, and you should just check out her stuff. It's very streamlined, as you can see like in her like picture there. Like there's so many just streamlined cool clothes, always on the runway, and always worth seeing on the runway. And then also Sonia Williams has something by Sanja, and it's interesting because her, like I believe she's based in LA, and the clothing that she does like ranges from the styles of people that I feel like I have coworkers who are like more athletic wear, and like who can pull off like the nice like kind of boxy jackets and stuff, and I'm like more like I want frills and girly things, and she does both. She merges them both together in these really cool ways, and you should definitely check out their stuff. There was even like a leather, how do I describe this? It was a leather skirt with like, it was all leather though. What is this called? Suspenders. Not suspenders. It was like a whole like overall kind of leather thing, and it was perfect. And I just like missed out on it. The pricing on it is not like too bad. It's not super steep like high end fashion like Aurora James and Kushney are, but it's still something like, okay, that's my monthly allowance. I'm not spending any more than this.
Right.
But definitely check her out because there's a lot of cool clothes there. And if you Google her, you can find her Instagram where she like posts all the cool stuff that she does. And finally is Christy Brown by Aisha Obi. And she has like clothes. She's based in Ghana. She's Ghanaian, and her clothing lines are always really cool. They like blend so many different African prints with different materials like leather and cotton, and all these really cool, like very like starchy, like office wear, but also some cool like reinterpretations of what office wear could be. And again, similar to Sandra, like she's not as pricey as Aurora James or Kujni, but she's also a pretty penny. So again, that would be something like, okay, I'm going to save up like 3 months and I'll buy this one thing, but it's worth it. It's a lot of quality and it's going directly to the artists and the artisans that work on the work.
Nice. Now we're in fandom, and there's a lot of people that we could have talked about here, but again, like time and the amount of time I could spend doing this PowerPoint, we kind of like narrowed it down here. First is Nicole Hill. She works a lot with us at Black Girls Create. She is a TV critic. You can find a lot of her TV or episode recaps on Den of Geek, but she also runs the blog Black TARDIS, where she talks to and it has a very good big Twitter presence where she talks a lot about Doctor Who from a Black perspective. She'll run polls, she'll ask questions and start discussions for fans of color around Doctor Who. And so you can follow her on Twitter at Black TARDIS. Follow her writing. She does a recap of I think like 3 or 4 different shows right now on Den of Geek that you can follow her and get those updates on. And then if you are a member of our community, Black Girls Create, you'll see her all over the place because she's very much a big part of our community as well. And she always has something smart, funny.
So if you need a website done, like hire her to do that.
Right. She also builds websites. If you look at our website, that's all Nicole. And our personal, she's helped a lot of us with our personal websites and tweaks and things like that. So she's a great like Renaissance woman of just multi-talented and always funny, interesting things to say.
The Gaily Prophet podcast is a Harry Potter podcast where they are going through the series as if it's like it's a newspaper. So like they have like different like editorial sections. They read the text through like a queer and trans lens. Very much are about I believe they called it firing the author, and like have a lot of resources on ways where you can like, keep the text, but like throw the author away. And they are hilarious, super like dope. They have really tight merch. I like have 2 of their stickers now and I bought like 2 more. And yeah, they're the best. Anytime like we talk to them, it goes on for hours. So, but you should totally listen to their podcast. I believe they're on Prisoner of Azkaban at the moment. Mm-hmm. So it's still like relatively early.
They also are doing another podcast, and the name is escaping me right now. But if you are a fan of Rainbow Royale,
Escape from Reality.
Escape from Reality. Yes, if you're fan of Rainbow Rail's Carry On Wayward Son series, it's the Simon Snow, just like a Harry Potter derivative. That's a really good thing to also check out as well from them.
Yeah.
Stephanie Williams. Oh, go ahead.
Stephanie Williams. She is a comic creator, writer. She does. She just be wilding on Twitter. She's like memes galore, a lot of like jokes about comics, but also like really insightful commentary, and then has also created the comics Living Heroes, which is like a Marvel Living Single kind of mashup situation, but What If Though, which is mostly comics too, but it's just kind of like different. It's kind of like the What If situation, like series, but then like she'll merge it with like different pop culture things or like just, funny things that come to her mind. And then Parenthood Activate, which is kind of about like basically like a mom trying to like raise her son, but it's all really funny. She's hilarious and will also make you mad in like with the jokes and be like, wow, why?
She will have you like trying to figure out why you follow her. You're like, why did
I do this? But you laughing as you think that, so you're like, clearly that's why, because it's funny. It's like I'm mad, but I'm laughing, so it's okay. So yeah, you should definitely follow. And then like she has a Patreon. I believe The Living Heroes like is gonna come out as like a book. So if you support her Patreon, you can get like updates on that. And also I think the book is coming out soon, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah.
Awesome.
And For All Nerds is a hub similar to Black Girls Create, and they do a lot of different cool things around TV and movies, especially like Marvel properties. They have a podcast called For All Nerds, and they have a bunch of really cool guests that they get on there. Like more recently they had Matt Ruff, who's written Lovecraft Country. They always have a different actor or director or someone on the pod. And they have a podcast called the Safe Negro Podcast that I happen to be on with them. And we talk about Lovecraft Country and dissect it in so many different ways. So if you, what is their tagline? I gotta think what the tagline is. If you're into wanting to hear from the perspective of people of color, like nerd culture from the perspective of people of color, they're a perfect group to listen to. And it's always fun. Tatiana is very like New York. Ben is from Texas, and the things and shenanigans that happen in their discussions are hilarious. So definitely should check them out.
And then finally, we have a few people that don't like fit neatly in those categories. So we just said other, but we definitely want you to know about them and support them. Yeah.
So Afia Isabi is the founder of Ioba Body Essentials, which is this she like homemakes like soaps, hair products, body products,
deodorant,
oils, deodorant, like all types of it's like amazing. When I was in college, I used to like work for her, and so I use all of her products pretty much, and you
can have a bathroom full of yoga.
A lot of them are shea butter based products. She has things for like everything. Like you got oily skin, she got something for that. You got eczema, she got some for that. You got like any type of like skin care problem, you need your hair to be more like moisturized, she got you. So you can check her out. I believe that website is ioba.com. And you can just buy all the things. And she ships throughout the country. So, just.
And it smells wonderful.
It smells so good.
I have not had a single like soap that I did not like the smell of, or body oil or anything. Like it's just my skin thanks me every time I use Ioba. Ty Gooden is a writer and an entrepreneur. She recently just launched a candle company. And she writes for The Nerdist. She's an editor at thenerdist.com. She writes for a lot of other different publications. So she kind of does this really great marriage between, if you want to know about or, support her with her like nerd fandom stuff. She writes a lot. She's really knowledgeable about Doctor Who. You can do that, but also if you want some smell good candles, then Faith and Flames is her candle company, and it launched not too long ago. Her first batch kind of sold out immediately, just to give you a sense of like how good her products are. And she gives a portion of the proceeds to organizations that support social justice and different causes. And so you can check all of that out. faithandflames.com, I believe, is the website. But if you search Ty Gooden, she's all over the internet because she write so much amazing stuff.
Yeah. Margins Box is a subscription service by two Black women that's all about promoting authors of color and putting them in your inbox if you subscribe every month. They're currently on hiatus because they ran out of their startup money and they need more money to get that moving again. So if you are looking for someone to curate for you, sometimes it's hard to stay on track of all the different authors and all the different releases coming out. Believe me, I'm the book girl. I have too many problems. But then you can take the worry off of you. You can have someone else curate all these Black, Indigenous people of color just coming in your inbox. You don't have to worry about it. It just comes, it shows up, and you have a fresh batch of 3 to 6 books every month. It sounds like a dream to me. I feel like if you, that's what they're asking for currently, is just to get more funds. So if you buy in and put in more fund and subscribe to their box and services, they will be trying to go back on board soon once they raise that money to get things moving again. I believe the pandemic has kind of slowed them down and tapped up their resources. And then the final person that I had listed here was Nancy Twine, the founder of Briogeo, because recently I tried their hair products and my hair has been doing things that I did not know it could do. And I'm so happy about it. And so I just need to thank Nancy, because what would my life be without this deep conditioning that I've received recently?
Yeah, I've been meaning to check her out ever since you told me about her. I'm like, ugh. Bet as soon as these braids come out, it's on.
Yeah, I am about to do a deep condition, and so I'm definitely gonna be checking out Briogeo. So those are all of our creators that we've gone over. I hope you found some people that spark your fancy. I hope that you check out these creators and support their work, listen to their music, watch their content, read their content, follow them on Twitter, and all of those wonderful things. And so thank you guys so much for joining us on this Geek Girl Conline. Again, we're Black Girls Create. You can follow us at blackgirlscreate.org. On Twitter, we're BLK Girls Create. We feature Black women once a month who are doing really awesome creative endeavors. So kind of a takeoff of this long form. Once a month, we'll highlight a new Black woman creator. And we talk about fandom and art and books a lot.
Very much so. But yeah, thank y'all for having us. Hopefully you found someone new. Hopefully you're pulling up links and are ready following people. Sorry to your wallets, but
it's worth it. It's worth it. If you're a geek girl, you have to invest in your geek girlness.
I mean,
Exactly. And now you can go to your friends and be person who always has the cool new recommendations of someone they've never heard of, because you're in the know. So yeah, thank you guys again so much for watching us, and hopefully we'll see you next year in person or sometime in
some safe, healthy fashion.
Yeah.
Yes. In a safe and healthy future, we will all meet together again in person. But until then, thank you.
Yep. Thanks. Bye, y'all.
Bye. Thank y'all.